Namaste and welcome to your practice today. So today we're going to be working more focused on the torso in all directions, more so than on our arms and legs. And we're doing this because we're working with our power center, which in the Tantric philosophy comes from the navel center. And so we want to, in January, which is when we're recording this, we can often, I know I've talked to a few people and feel very stuck. Christmas is over, spring isn't here, it's been cold, it's been wet, it's been kind of all over the place this winter. And so what we want to do is start to clear away this sense of stickiness and create more inner space so that we can free up energy and prana and be more clear about what you want in your life, and to tap into your creative potential and be able to start to bring that into your life. And so we're going to start with, actually I need 2 blocks. If you have a couple of blocks, I just have one here and my knees are stiff. I think I need 2 today. So grab your blocks. We're going to sit up on our blocks instead of this meditation cushion, and we're going to sit on your heels if that's comfortable for you. It's not for me, so I'm sitting up on 2 blocks. And the reason we're sitting like this, we're going to do 2 rounds of Kapalabhati breath, but the reason we're sitting like this is the first round, we're going to have an inhale retention at the top where we will hook our thumbs with our fingers spread wide. And then the second round, we're going to make fist, bring our fists into our belly and fold forward on the exhale retention, and this is going to help us create some space, and Kapalabhati is also called skull shining breath, so it's going to help clear out the cobwebs of the mind. So it doesn't matter if you go fast or slow, but we want the breath to be crisp, so it's a crisp drawing back of the low belly around the navel center, just below the navel center, to force the exhale and allow the inhale to come on its own. So let's go ahead and get started. You can just rest hands on your thighs if you wish here. So let's take a nice deep inhale and a nice slow exhale. And then inhale to begin at your own pace. Your eyes can be open or closed. About 5 more rounds. And then inhale the arms straight up, hook your thumbs and pause with the retention of the inhale at the top of the breath. Let your shoulders be a little bit soft. Don't let this be something that is straining, but continue to hold that inhale gently. And then when you need to release on your own time, you can slowly release your arms down to your thighs and just pause here, noticing any effects that you might feel. For a few rounds of breath before we move into our second round of Kapalabhati, and this is the one where we're going to do exhale retention at the bottom of the exhale. So take a big inhale, slow exhale, take one more inhale, and then begin again at your pace. Nice and crisp. Keep going. Three more. And And then let everything exhale out. Take another big inhale, make your fist. As you exhale, bring the fist into the belly. Exhale everything out. Retain that exhale and fold forward over your fists. Might feel a little bit uncomfortable. Continue holding that exhale. And you can even move your fist a little bit around and kind of loosen up whatever is stuck in that area of the body. And whenever you need to come up, slowly release, come up and take an inhale and just sit and notice. You might feel a little differently already just from that. And then we're going to come off of our blocks. Keep at least one block handy. As we move through our practice, we might be using another block here. And come onto hands and knees, and we're going to move into cat-cow. So as we move and alternate between cat-cow, between cat and cow, we're going to be making the arms and legs are relatively still. We're not really worrying about our arms and legs right now. The movement is initiating right from the navel center. So as we inhale, the navel drops slightly towards the earth, and as we exhale, draw it strongly back towards your spine and press the spine up to the sky. Well, let's just move like that for 4 more rounds. Moving the torso from the navel. Exhaling everything out as navel draws towards the spine. Moving again at your own pace, taking the whole inhale and the whole exhale for your movement, and allowing that movement to start at the navel. Now let's do one last round. And then come into a neutral tabletop, and we're going to bow the side ribs to the side. So it's like drawing your tail towards your shoulder and looking towards your hip. And then coming back to center and doing the same to the other side, drawing your left hip towards your left shoulder and looking towards your left hip. And just 2 more times to each side. So each time we do this, we're bowing our ribs out to the opposite side. And you'll begin to feel, if you are a little stuck in your side body, in your spine, you're going to begin to feel this here as things begin to loosen up. And then come back to neutral. And we're going to come into almost child's pose. So we begin to bring the hips halfway back, reach the arms out, come onto your fingertips on your hands, and keep the forehead up and extend the fingertips and the sit bones, drag them away from one another as much as you can. So we're really getting into side body, lengthening the spine and creating length in the torso. And then as you inhale and exhale here, see if you can feel your breath, feel the breath, not only into the belly, the front body, but also the side body, both sides of your ribs. The back body, your back ribs, the kidney area, and also top to bottom, so in all directions. Let's have one more inhale, reaching the sit bones away, dragging on those fingertips, creating length. And then let's go ahead and come up. This time we are going to come into child's pose. And we're just going to pause here for a few breaths. Your arms can be extended here as well. Bring your awareness into the back body and feel an expansion of the back ribs as you breathe in your child's pose. And then come on up. And we're going to do like a modified thread the needle. So bring your right hand to your right shoulder. And it takes a little bit of the arm out of this, so all the movement is coming from the belly and the heart center. So as we inhale, reach that elbow up. Twist from the navel center. And as we exhale, we're not going to bring our head down, but we're going to reach that elbow through and under. So we'll feel this in the side body, the navel center, a little bit more. So inhale it back up, exhale. So you're reaching your elbow through, but not bringing your head down. One more round. Really feel that opening in the chest and the front of the shoulder. And exhale. Come back up and let's do our other side. Left hand to left shoulder. Inhale it up. And exhale. Reach it through without bringing the head all the way down. Just reach with that elbow. Inhale up. We feel like we're not moving as much without having that arm extended as we normally do it. But we create a little more work in through the torso in this variation. And then come up, both hands come down. Spread your fingers wide, bring them slightly ahead of your shoulders. And then as we exhale, lifting the knees up and back into downward facing dog. So in our downward facing dog, we come back to that awareness of our breath and see if you can breathe into the front body, the back body, the side body, and from top to bottom. And really expand in all directions. Often we don't expand in our back body and side body because we're focused on the belly center and the front body. So take one more breath here. And then let's come into dancing dog. So we can do this. You can do this from your knees. I'll demonstrate from the knees first, and maybe that's where you want to start and then graduate to down dog. But we'll start by extending the right leg straight out behind us. And then we're going to draw that knee across to our opposite elbow and really draw it up towards your belly as much as you can. Extend and cross over diagonally to your opposite elbow. And you can do this from down dog or stay in your tabletop. And see how high you can bring it up on your arm, maybe to your tricep. We're going to do this 2 more times. 1 more time here. And last time on this side. Reach it up 1 last time. Float the foot down. If you started on your knees in the first variation, you can start on your knees in the second variation. So let's extend through that left leg and then draw the knee in, curl the spine up, knee to your opposite elbow. We're doing this 4 more times, so 5 times in total. Knee to opposite elbow. And you can do this in your down dog or stay where you are on your knees 3 more times. Bringing that knee as high up on the triceps as you can. 1 more time. On your exhale. And inhale it up. Float the foot down. Drop down to your knees. Give your wrists a little break. Let's come into child's pose. And this version, let's bring the back or the back of your hands to the sacrum. Let your forehead rest down. And so now we're going to go through a little movement that we normally do when we're prepping for camel pose. So as you inhale, reach up to the sky. And as we exhale, bring our hands back to our starting position, our child's pose, but look to the right. Inhale, reach up. And this time, exhale, look to the left. Keep moving, switching sides as you inhale up. And as you exhale, turn to the right again. Keep moving from side to side. One last time to each side, and we're going to end on the right. We're just kind of warming up the spine, lengthening side body. As you end on the right, we're going to stay there, looking right, and then extending your left hand. I'm hoping that you can hear me. I know when I squash my microphone, it gets difficult to hear. And then we're just going to lift a little bit and begin to twist to your right, extending through that left arm. Your right hand is still on the sacrum, and you can actually flip so that your palm is on the sacrum. And then release, come down, both arms come alongside your shins, back of your hands to your sacrum actually. Inhale, rise up, reach up. This time as we exhale, we're looking to the left. Extending your right arm, and then we're going to twist to the left. So opening the chest and the shoulder over to the left side. You might flip your palm so that it's on your sacrum. Keep twisting as you're reaching that right arm. And release. Let's extend our arms straight out in front of us, finding our way into downward facing dog once again. And then let's walk, step, or float your feet to the top of your mat and come into a forward fold and see if we can come to samavriti, which is equal breath. So our inhale and our exhale are the same length. And see if you can find that sense of expanding in your back body, your side body, and your front body with each inhale. Each inhale creating a little more space in the torso. And each exhale, releasing some of that stickiness, that stuckness that we might be feeling. One more breath here in our forward fold. You might have grabbed opposite elbows. Your knees might be slightly bent here. But let's release, hands to your shins or to your blocks. Inhale up. Exhale. Bow down and inhale, rise up. Draw into your heart center and release, and just take a couple breaths in mountain pose, just taking a moment to check in and see how you're feeling with your energy. Maybe you're beginning to feel that prana moving, and take a moment to reconnect with your ujjayi breath if you have lost that through our sequence so far. So from here, we're going to build a little more prana in the upper body. We're going to step our right foot back for pyramid pose. And so pyramid pose, that back foot's not as wide as we would for warrior two, and the foot is in about 45-degree angle. So there's a couple variations that we can do here. We're going to do a forward fold so that our torso just comes parallel to the floor. We've done this before in other classes. You can just have your hands on your hips or both hands to your sacrum. Inhale, lift the heart. And as you exhale, keep reaching, lengthening the spine, drawing your left hip back. And bring the torso parallel. Little micro bend in the back of your knee here. And then we inhale, come up. Now you can keep your hands here. Or you might extend your right arm, so the same arm as your back leg, and do the same movement, reaching through the armpit, lengthening through the spine, drawing that left hip back, pressing strongly in both feet, micro bend, and come on back up. Some of you might want to challenge and do both arms as we exhale, bringing the torso just parallel to the floor, really reaching and lengthening. And then inhaling, coming up. I'm going to do one arm, and we'll continue with whichever variation that you have chosen to do with your hand movements. Inhale, reaching forward. Lengthening, strong in the feet. in the legs and come on back up. We're going to do one more and then we're going to stay there. Inhale, reaching forward, lengthening, drawing that right side forward. And then we're just going to release that hand to the shin. Wherever that comes to, you can keep your hand, the palm on your sacrum, and we're twisting to the left in revolved triangle. So a little bit of challenge on the balance here. And just for today, you might want to just keep your hand on your sacrum as we twist from the navel center. And then release. Both hands come down. Let's step back into downward facing dog. Walking that out a little bit. I always feel pyramid and revolved triangle so much in my side hips. So down dog feels really good. Let's come forward to plank pose. And maybe we can hold our plank just for a couple of breaths, lifting through the shoulders, feeling the navel center moving towards the spine on your exhales. One more breath here. And then we're going to lower all the way down. And you might drop your knees to lower down. But we're all going to come down to our belly. And feel the belly pressing into the floor. Feel your back ribs expand as you inhale here. Feel your side ribs expand. Let's bring our arms wide, elbows bent, fingertips just on the tippy fingers of your fingers. Extend through your right leg, lift it up and extend. Lift the left leg up, extend, place them back down. Inhale, rise up into your cobra. Let the breath pour in on your inhale. Belly contained as it presses into your mat. And exhale, come down. Let's do two more like that. Inhale, rise up in this variation of cobra. Exhale, release. One more time. And exhale, let it go. Hands under your shoulders. Press up and back. You might come into child's pose if you want some release in your lower back, if you created any tension there. Some of you are ready just to lengthen the spine in downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up off the waist with each inhale, releasing that stickiness on the exhale. Let's step, walk, or float the feet to the top of the mat into our forward fold. Just take a moment here to savor each inhale and each exhale, letting the leg be loose. Next, inhale, hands to shins, lengthen your spine, come halfway up. Exhale, bow, bend your knees, press into the floor, rise. Come all the way up, draw into your heart center. So we're going to go ahead and do our second side with our pyramid and revolved triangle. So this time stepping left foot back. And again, not as wide of a stance as you would do in Warrior Two. Same arm variations, hands can be hips, sacrum. You can reach only the left arm up or both arms, or you can experiment. We're going to do this a few times, so you might experiment starting with hands on the sacrum and graduating through as you feel. So we're going to inhale, lift up through the heart, and exhale, reach forward and keep drawing this right hip back this time. And just bringing the torso parallel, and see if you can make as much space as possible from your sit bones and your crown. And then come on back up on an exhale. Take an inhale here, exhale it out, and let's continue. Inhale, reaching forward, creating length from crown to sit bones, drawing that right hip back. Inhaling up, you might change your hand positions and experiment, or you might stay where you started. Keep lengthening. If you've reached an arm, really reach through the armpit, through the elbow, and come on back up. 2 more. And on this last one, we're going to stay coming parallel, reach, 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 lengthen, 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 draw that right hip back, and then simply release your hand to your shin, and we begin to twist to your right. So you can bring your palm to your sacrum if you wish, and lead from the navel center. So we're wringing out from the navel center, drawing that right hip in, micro bend in the back of that right knee. Take one more breath here. And then unwind. Both hands come down. Let's step back and downward facing dog once again. Excuse me. You take child's pose here, or you might feel like taking another flow and opening up through the front body. And your choice of back bend. I'm going to take a cobra with fists above my bum. Inhaling to rise up and open my heart center. You might even come into Salabhasana. Feeling your breath flow in. And the exhale, we release down. Press up and back, child's pose, or straight to down dog. Again, working at filling not only the front body, but the back ribs, the side ribs, from top to bottom, side to side, back to front with your breath. And then when you're ready, downward facing dog. If you're not already there, take an inhale, use your exhale, step, walk, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen your heart forward this time. Hands can come to shins. Exhale, we bow. Bend the knees, press into the floor. Rise up, look up, reach up. Draw into your heart center. So we're going to come into a little bit of balance here. We're going to do eagle pose, and I'm going to demonstrate a variation using a block. And you can try this variation if you wish. I think it's kind of fun to try. Usually I do it without a block, but I've been practicing with a block, and I kind of like it because it feels very different. I've got my block up on my high end. You might have it lower, but experiment. We can play around here a little bit. So we're just going to start with hands on hips. I've got my block on the outside of my left foot. I'm just going to lift the right and cross over at the top of the thighs and bring my toes onto this block. And then sit down, and we want to make the cross as high up in the thighs as we can. So this could be my eagle legs here. Some of you might wrap your foot around and not use the block. Some of you might keep toes on the block. I'm going to keep toes on the block because when I'm talking, I usually lose my balance. So our right leg is on top, which means our right arm is coming under. So your variation of eagle might be grabbing shoulders, pressing the back of the hands together, or wrapping around. We're trying to lift the heart and squeeze the legs, squeeze the arms together. So this is really opening for all of the joints. And why I like my block here is we're going to experiment a little bit, and we're going to try twisting. So keep looking straight ahead and just move from the navel center and the shoulders twisting to the left. Keep looking center, keep your focus. And then twist the torso to the right. Come back to center, and we're going to fold forward, elbows to the knees. So really compressing everything here. And then we rise back up, spread your wings, release your legs, and let's just stand here with our wings spread for a moment. Moving from that state of compression to this open, spacious feeling in our bodies, and hopefully also in our minds. And then release your arms down. Let's move the block to the other side of the foot. If you use the block on one side, go ahead and use it on the other side. You can always wrap your feet around and ignore the block if you're feeling steady. So this time, left leg lifts up. Cross at the thighs, at the top of the thighs, possibly letting your toes come to your block as you sit and squeeze the legs together. We're really working with the joints. Spread your arms wide as we sit like an eagle perched, ready to fly. Left arm comes under right. Hopefully I don't squish my microphone here. Take your arm variation of eagle. Find your steadiness, maybe sit a little lower. And now we'll play with our twists. Keep your steady gaze at center and just twist the shoulders, the torso from the navel center to the right. Come back to center. Twist to the left. Come back to center. And we fold forward, really squeezing the arms, squeezing the legs. Everything squeezing together. And then we rise back up. We spread our wings and we release. Keep your wings spread. Maybe even lift your heart, lift your gaze, maybe even close your eyes and feel that expansiveness after that restriction, that constriction. And release your arms down. Beautiful. So we're going to play a little bit with our twists and some other poses here before we wind it down. How are we doing for time? Perfect, we're doing great. So we're going to start with chair pose. And chair pose, again, different arm variations. You can have hands on your hips. You can reach arms forward. Or you can reach arms up. I'm going to go with the variation of reaching arms up. I'm having my feet either together. I'm taking feet hip width for my variation. So as we inhale, take your hand position. I'm reaching up. Bend the knees. And now we're not looking to arch our low back and really stick our butt out here. We want to keep the belly a little bit contained, so we might not go as deep, so that we're still working with that navel center here and our power. And then from here, we're going to take a twist variation where I'm just going to take my left hand across to my outer knee. My right hand is on my sacrum. And maybe I sink a little bit deeper here and slide that arm on the outside of my right knee. And then really what I'm working at opening my chest here, lifting my chest. So I don't have to go deep in order to get the twist in the torso. And rather than going forward, I'm trying to lift my chest up. And then release, come all the way up. Reach both arms up, come into your heart center. And let's do the second side. Do this way so I'm not having my back to you. So inhale, reach up, hands to hips or arms straight ahead as you sit down. Remember containing the belly on this version of chair pose so we're not really sticking the butt out so much. And then bringing the right wrist across to the outer left and the left hand to the sacrum. And now sliding as far as you are able, and it might just be wrist on the outer knee. And then we think about lifting the heart as we lift up towards the ceiling. So rather than going forward, lifting, lifting, lifting. And so all that twist is coming from the torso, opening up. Where can you feel your breath here? And then come back to center. Rise up, reach up, draw into your heart center. You probably feel a little bit of warmth, that power, that fire. creating there. And now we're going to do our twist one more time. You're going to be nice and toasty warm here. And we're going to add a lunge into this. So inhale, lengthen up, exhale, sit down and chair pose. This time I'm going to bring my hands to my heart center. You might do the variation that we just finished doing, or take your twist with hands at your heart center. And again, we're lifting the chest, and then bring a little more weight into your right foot. We're going to step our left foot back into a twist lunge. And then keep working with your lifting your chest. And then release. Step back, downward facing dog. You might stay in down dog or child's pose. Or you might choose to take a flow and open through the front body after all of that heating work of the belly center. And find your way with your own breath, your own pace, back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in your down dog. Try to find that expansion in both front body, back body, side body, and top to bottom. Taking one more round of breath here. And then we'll step, walk, or float to the top of our mat on an exhale. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, bow, and inhale, we rise up. Draw into the heart center. And we're going to do our second side. Bella, off the mat. She's going to make my step back a little difficult if she's on my mat. Lay down, Bella. Good girl. Okay, let's inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, sit down in your chair pose, and then take the variation of your twist to your left that works best for you. It could be our first variation or hands at heart center. Catching the elbow on the outer left knee and lifting that heart. Now, I think I forgot to say this on our first round, but look down at your left foot as you bring weight into your left foot and step the right foot back into your twisted lunge. Keep lifting through the heart. One more breath. And release down. Step it back into your downward facing dog. And again, you might take child's pose or stay in down dog or take a flow. Any of those is perfectly fine to make the practice suit you. And once you are back in downward facing dog, if you chose to take a flow. Oh, actually, I forgot. We wanted to do one more thing. So let's all meet in downward facing dog if you're not already there. We're going to float our left leg up to the sky in 3-legged dog. And as we exhale, draw that knee forward and place that whole shin down. So my left knee and shin are down. Pivot that right foot so that, sorry, Bella's in the way. I've got my inner arch down on the mat. So we're coming into a variation of a side plank. So coming into awareness and focus on that right side body, and perhaps reaching the arm overhead and creating a bow in these side ribs as we lift a little bit higher through the hips and the torso. Again, feeling your breath in all directions, side to side, top to bottom, and front to back. And then let's bring that arm up, back, and around. Step back into downward facing dog. Let's go to our second side. Float your right leg up. And as you exhale, draw that knee forward. Place it down on your mat. Pivot the back foot. Plant that right hand. Sorry, you've got my back to you. but that's okay. You can have a new version. And then reach that top arm overhead and bow those ribs up, lift the hips up. Playing with your balance here a little bit and really feel that length in the side body and feel your breath. One more round. And then circle your arm back up, down and around. Step back, downward facing dog. And then we're going to all drop our knees. Find your blocks to sit on or just sit directly on your heels. We're going to do another round of Kapalabhati with the fist on our exhale, retention as we did at the beginning. We've moved a lot of energy around. Now we want to clear out that space in the basement, so to speak. So take a moment to find your breath. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale it all out. Take another inhale, and then we begin. Three more rounds. Exhale everything out. Take a deep inhale. Make your fists. As you exhale, retain the exhale. And bring yourself into the forward fold with the fists on either side of the navel center. Retain that exhale. You can move your fists around a little bit in the belly and find those spaces. Nudge a little bit more space wherever you might feel a little sticky. And when you need to inhale, just rise up, release your fist, and take your inhale. Just take a couple breaths, just notice what you're feeling here. And then we're going to come into some seated poses. So we're going to start with Janu Sirsasana, or head to knee pose. My assistant is apparently ready to move on. She does not want to move into Shavasana. Okay, Janu Sirsasana. So we are going to, both legs are straight out in front. Take the left leg and bend it and grab just kind of that tendon that's on the inside of your knee and draw that up. And it's like we're twisting it open to bring that foot inside the right thigh for our Janu Sirsasana. And so in this variation, we're going to begin to orient our body straight to this straight leg, the center of your body, and bring your left arm, so your opposite arm, across to the outside of that right leg. So that hand might come to the outside of the knee. My right hand is behind me, so right leg straight, right hand behind. Opposite arm across. Some of you might be the shin, some of you might be the ankle. But what we really want to do is be able to keep a long spine because we're going to twist to our right. So we begin to use that navel center to twist, to open. And your head's the last thing to go. And you can use that hand for a little bit of leverage, but it's really, the twist is really coming from the navel center. And if you have shorter arms, it might be helpful to have your hand on a block behind you, especially if you're more upright. And this is a perfectly good place to create your twist. Some of you who are a little more flexible might be creating your twist down here. Some of you might even take that back arm and wrap it around towards your opposite hip crease. And so your twist might look like this. And so as we move into this, just try to keep your breath even. If you can't, if you find your breath is very restricted, then maybe ease off into one of the lesser variations so that your breath can flow properly, because it's on the breath that the prana flows. So we don't want to restrict the breath here. And then let's go ahead and release out this left knee. We're just going to bring it upright. And we're going to move into a twist seated upright. So you can bring that right hand, I'm going to have my back to you this time, that right arm, come around that, we're twisting to the left and keeping the spine tall. So again, that twist comes from the navel center, the whole navel center moving to the left, and lifting up nice and tall. Again, the head is the last thing to twist. You feel a deeper variation and you want to reach your left hand around to the hip crease, or you come into a bind, but don't feel the need to, because and release both legs out in front of you. Let's just take a nice, slow, soft little forward bend just to balance out both sides of the pelvis from that asymmetrical pose. And then come up, and let's come to the right leg bent. So grabbing the inner thigh kind of behind the knee and bring that leg in. And that action of kind of rotating the leg open like this helps for the release as we move into this pose. So again, center of the torso towards that straight leg, lengthening up, and then opposite arm comes across to the outer knee, shin, or ankle. Left hand is out behind you, and then we're creating that twist from the torso and opening the heart to the left. Spine, and moving to wherever you feel most comfortable, maybe bringing that back arm to your hip. Not necessarily. Think about and stay long through your spine. Don't crunch over. If you find yourself curled over, then come back up a little bit more so you can keep a long spine. Wherever you're at, one more breath. And then we release out of our twist, come all the way upright. Lift that right knee upright, and now we're twisting to the right. So the right hand is out behind you, and we're twisting right from the navel center, twisting to the right on your exhales. As you can see, we're really working with the torso here, in particular the navel center, our power center, to be able to use the prana and the energy that we create in our practice to manifest whatever we want to create in our life, and to feel less stuck and that we have the power to move forward. Unwind on an exhale. Let's straighten both legs. Actually, this time we're going to spread our legs. If you need a rolled up towel, or even just creating a bend in the back of your knees here, you can go ahead and do that. And do that by pressing the heels in and creating that little bend. You can see, I hope you can see, I've got space here. And from here, we're going to move into a little bit of a kind of a twist or a side body opening here as well. So I'm going to bring my left hand just down to the floor by my left leg. How far you go is up to you. It might just be right here. And then we're going to begin to reach that right arm up and over. And again, we're not looking towards our leg. We're looking to open up. So we're bowing in that right side body. And actually, this actually feels really good. Take your right hand and just bring awareness to that space where you're releasing tension and stuckness all up the side of the left ribs, all through that area. And then if you want to extend your arm up, go ahead and do so. And if you want to extend your arm over towards your foot, it doesn't matter if you touch. This is fine right here because we're rotating up, opening the heart. One more breath. This actually feels really, really good for me. I hope it does for you. Let's come back up. Nice and slow. Let's pause and center for a moment. And remember, you can have those knees bent. Bring right hand inside that right leg. And it doesn't matter if you're all the way down here or all the way up here. And let's begin to lean over towards that right side. So creating this space here. Even take your left hand and massage that area, just where your QL ligament is in the kidney area, and creating space between those ribs as you bow the ribs and maybe extend the arm up. And maybe extend the arm overhead and really feel that stretch all the way from the hip through the kidney area, through the ribs, and all the way up the side of the arm. Maybe you even turn your head to look up. And some of you feel the need to make the bind to your foot. Go ahead and do so, but again, not necessary. I'm feeling so much beautiful opening sensation here personally. And I just want to stay here. And then let's slowly come back up. Beautiful. Let's just pause here for a moment. And then bring the feet together in butterfly. Maybe you feel like just butterflying your knees a little bit here. Some of you might feel like folding forward and release through your back body. And some of you are going to stay upright with hands supporting here. And then we're going to go ahead and lie down. We have one more posture that we're going to do as we lie down. We're going to come into fetal position. And so I'm going to start on my right side so I'm facing you. If you want to have a block under your head here, you can, because we're going to be rotating open. Arms extended, palms together on the floor. We've done this before in my classes, but today we're going to use the breath opposite of what we normally do. So take a nice big inhale here. As you exhale, we open up into our twist. So as we exhale, the navel center moves towards the spine and twists towards your left. And you may look left, and then use your inhale to come back into your fetal position. Let's do this a couple more times. Exhale, open, belly moves towards the spine and twist towards the left. Look left, let your gaze follow your hand. Inhale, come back. One more on this side. Exhale, navel draws in, let your gaze, your eyes follow your hand. And inhale, come back to center. Let's roll onto our backs, knees bent, and we're going to do the second side. So rolling to our left, I will have my back to you for part of this. So fetal position, left palm stack. Take an inhale. Exhale, navel moves towards the spine and twist towards your right. Let your gaze follow your hand. Inhale, we come back to our start fetal position with palms stacked. Two more with your breath. Exhaling into the twist. Inhaling back to our start. One more time. Exhale to open, belly twist. Navel center towards the spine. And back. And then go ahead and roll onto your back. Let's draw knees into the belly. Rock from side to side. And we're moving into your final Shavasana. So extending arms and legs. Let your legs be wide. Let your arms come away from your sides. And invite stillness with a sense of lightness and possibility here into your Shavasana. Take this time for all the prana that we created, that we moved, that we unstuck, to filter into all parts of your body, into all the body systems, into every cell. Allow this sense of lightness, of possibility, for these next few moments in stillness. Now I invite you to stay exactly where you are in this state of relaxation and stillness, of lightness and possibility. And let your intentions rest at the place of the base of the abdomen, the navel center. Let your entire awareness be focused on the source of the flame at the navel center. All your awareness at the source of the flame at the navel center. Use your mind to adjust the flame to grow higher and brighter, or lower and softer. And then begin to allow the mind to become filled with this light, this possibility, and this potential. Now I invite you to begin to deepen your breath as you bring awareness back to your physical form, the perimeters of your body where your skin meets the air. And begin to initiate small movements as you find your way back to your physical form. If you decide you prefer to stay in Shavasana a little longer, please do so. Otherwise, you can begin to move into fetal position and make your way to a seat. and get ready for the rest of your day of possibility. Namaste. Have an amazing day.